I summon all 4 of the ancient beasts, Raviel, Haemon, Yoria, and Mr. Today, I'm going to give the first person to sacrifice 3 cards 8,000 life points to the dome.
Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-minute testing. I like this new method of retraining decks. Previous cards too ass to design around? Just don't! Anyway, here's a build that's got literally 0 of the old cards, and is much better for it. Presenting Sacred Beast. So here's the list. Anthony Hose from the top 64 of the Oceanic WCQ. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Despite what some Yu-Gi-Tubers who shall not be named would have you believe, the TCG is alive and well. And if you're looking to start your journey into paper, there's no better place to begin than Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. With up-to-the-minute reporting on every major tournament worldwide, searchable and interactable pie charts and deck lists, and all the bells and whistles you've come to expect from one of the best draft and collection management sites on the net, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the place to be. Check it out today at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's slide into Sacred Beast. Sacred Beast is a deck with an extremely simple, self-contained game plan. By using their on-theme graceful charity but better, you can pivot between a series of monsters and spell traps that set extra copies of themselves when activated. After swarming the board, you can activate their new field spell to fart out as many Temu Egyptian gods as you like. One's a Raigeki, one pops spell traps, and all of them are extremely difficult to get off the field. They're a cool, mid-powered archetype whose thematic plays are perfect for new players and fans of the anime, and they're good enough to top. In Genesys. Yeah, sorry, time for the other shoe to drop here. Konami put next to no locks on these cards, so while they can end on an end board of Yoria Raviel, they mostly just make, you guessed it, floodgates. The endlessly summonable monsters are just enough material for a Firewall Protect code into Christia line. Their main starter is a Thunder monster that activates in the hand for Thunder Dragon Colossus, and it can all be backed up with Varudris, the generic 10, negate but better. Never before has there been a bigger disparity between this deck and its Genesys counterpart. It'd be like finding out your high school friend who loved baseball finally made it professionally, but just signed to the Yankees. So with that, let's get into the card by card. 3 copies of Haemon, Lord of Striking Thunder, Sacred Beast of Sinful Catastrophe. That's a cool name that is not its English name. Can't be normal summon or set, has to be special summon with the effect of a Sacred Beast card. It can be revealed to add a Sacred Beast spell from your deck to your hand, then you discard a card. And once per turn, if a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you take no damage this turn. Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, Infinity of the Sacred Beasts, can't be normal summoned or set, has to be summoned with the effect of a Sacred Beast card, and can be revealed in your hand to add a Sacred Beast monster from your deck to your hand, except itself, then discard a card. And once per turn as a quick, you contribute 2 other Sacred Beast monsters, destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack for each card destroyed. 3 copies of Martyr of the Sacred Beasts, who have normal or specialed, puts 1 Sacred Beast field spell or a Sacred Beast continuous spell face up on your field. And then if you control another Sacred Beast monster, you can special summon 2 Martyrs from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During your opponent's end phase, if you have this card and a level 10 Sacred Beast in your graveyard, it can be added to your hand. Finally, we are playing 1 copy of Summoner of the Sacred Beast, who can be revealed, discard a card, and special summon a Sacred Beast from your hand in defense. And you can discard a card to special summon a Sacred Beast monster from your hand to graveyard in defense, except the 8 or the discarded card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, a special Sacred Beast from your graveyard in defense, except an 8, and each effect is once per turn. Finally, we've got Christia. For spells, run 3 copies of Sacred Beast Released, who can add 3 Sacred Beast monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, then discard 2. If this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it to add a level 10 Pyro Thunder Fiend that can't be normal summoned or set from your deck to your hand. Sacred Beast Thundercrap during your main phase allows you to place 2 Sacred Beast Thundercraps from your hand, deck, or graveyard face upon your field. Then you can reveal 1 level 10 Sacred Beast monster in your hand and place a Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beasts from your hand face up in your field zone. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. That's a once per turn. This is a fantastic starter. Finally, we've got 2 copies of Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beasts, who, thrice per turn during your main phase, allows you to send 3 other cards of the same type, monster, spell, or trap, from your hand or face up field to the graveyard to special a Sacred Beast from your hand, deck, or graveyard, or banishment. If you do, it's unaffected by your opponent's activated spell or trap effects. If you control a Sacred Beast monster whose original level is 10, you can draw 2 cards. Important part of this one is it doesn't have to send things that have the same name. So sometimes if you have too many hand traps, you can just send those. Speaking of, here's Fuelos and Ash Blossom and Droll and Lockbird. We're also playing 3 copies of Forbidden Ground, 2 copies of The Fallen, The Virtuous, 3 Super Poly, a triple Tactics Talents, a Call by the Grave, and triple Dominus Spark. That's right, it's a Spark deck. In the extra, don't get too excited. For 10s, we've got Verudris, which is, of course, a negate and a pop, but we've also got Mercurium in order to equip bullshit to this card. Relinquished Anima, Firewall Dragon, Cross Sheep, SP Little Knight, Charmer Quartet in Bloom, Zena's Deceiving Doll Maidens, and Protect Code Talker are the triumvirate of bullshit that here enables just some really irritating setups. We've got Ecclesia for F&V, Albion for the same reason, then Mud Dragon, Garura, Sea Monster of Theseus as our super poly targets, and finally a Thunder Dragon Colossus in the side. We've got Diabel's the original Sin Keeper, 3 Winged Dragon of Ross, Sphere Mode, 3 Perulia, a Feather Duster, a Lightning Storm, triple Pot of Sloth, double Accusation, and a Judgment. So with that, let's check out a match. Our first match is up against Branded, but kind of a weird build. Branded Sark. That's exciting, right? We're going first, and all they have is a Droll into our Called by the Grave, so we'll begin with a copy of Sacred Beast, release into a Droll into a Called by the Grave. From here, we can just go all the way off. We will activate the effect of the Haemon in order to grab from deck to hand a copy of Sacred Beast Thunderclap. We will activate that, setting 2 more copies to our side of the field, and also a copy of Fallen Paradise, whose effect we will activate to summon a copy of Martyr of the Sacred Beast from deck. From here, we can use the Summoner of the Sacred Beast for a Raviel, and then the effect of the Fallen Paradise in order to draw 2, before going for the Martyr effect in order to summon 2 from deck. From here, we can just go ahead and link off for an Anima and a Cross Sheep and a Summoner of the Sacred Beast to bring back the Haemon, and because we activated its effect in hand this turn, a Colossus. That'll bring back a Martyr into a Protect Code Talker, into a Firewall, into a Protect Code Talker, into, you guessed it, Firewall Dragon, shuffle back a monster so we can make Zena's Deceiving Doll Maidens. That'll send a Christia to the graveyard. We'll activate Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast in order to send 3 spells, bring out a Raviel, and then overlay for a Verudris into a Charmer Quartet in Bloom so that we can protect our copy of Christia alongside our Firewall. We'll pass back to our opponent, who will draw for turn a copy of the Gaze of Timaeus. They'll begin with the Quem, activate the effect of the Quem in order to send a copy of the Virtuous, set a copy of Gaze, and pass. We will activate all of the effects in our yard, the Thunderclap and the Martyr of the Sacred Beast, to add them back. Then we'll activate Zena's Deceiving Doll Maidens in order to grab back this copy of Haemon as well. We'll go Sacred Beast Thunderclap in order to set 2 more, then go to the battle phase, get over for 1,000, and direct for lethal. So that's how the deck performs on the play, but what does it do on the draw? Well, for game 2, our opponent's playing Power Patron, and we have opened Super Poly Forbidden Crown. Hopefully that's enough. You're going to have to give me some grace on this one. I still have the fanlations in my head. This is Junoldo. Afterwards, we'll activate Vitalim and activate its effect in order to grab from deck to hand a copy of Nervado. That, alongside a Spell Trap, will make an Archmage Non-Finito into a copy of Archmage Vandalism Assault, which will activate for, you guessed it, Medius. Down comes Medius, and we will summon from deck a copy of Juprado? I'm used to Zagrado. Then we'll activate the effect of Junoldo here as well. Down comes Beyond the Pendulum, whose effect will activate 1,200 here alongside the effect of the face-up Juprado. Afterwards, we will go ahead and grab a couple of cards, set Junoldo, and set this copy of Vitalim in order to get scales necessary to perform a Pendulum Summon. First comes Terminus, and then comes the Pendulum Summon of the Shade the Obscure, Juprado, and then Exceed the Pendulum in order to cycle back to Repend. Out comes this copy of Nervado, whose effect will trigger, and then afterwards they'll go for a Nerve of the Power, Patron of Creation, before summoning out another copy of Juprado. Finally, Shade the Obscure to their side of the field, into an IP Masquerena, into a Verudris, into a set card, into 2 additional pieces of interaction in hand. So we'll begin with a copy of Super Polymerization. Down go the 2 scariest guys. Afterwards, we'll go for Sacred Beast Released. They'll go for Ash Blossom, and then we'll go for the effect of our Sacred Beast's Thunderclap. They will exceed the Pendulum here. They'll activate the effect of the Junoldo in order to draw a couple of cards, and then Junoldo once again in order to cycle itself back. Let's go for the Thunderclap. We will go ahead and set 2, at which point they will go for a Dragostapelia. We'll go to the battle phase and then just pass turn. They'll draw 4 turn, and afterwards go for a Nervado. We are just totally dead here. They're going to go Exceed the Pendulum into a copy of Charmer Quartet in Bloom, trigger the effect of the Juprado, and then Pendulum Summon 1, 2, out alongside the Medius of the Pure in the graveyard. We will call that by the grave, but afterwards they're going to go for the Shade the Obscure effect on field, which enables them to cycle a couple of copies of Nervado. They'll trigger the effect of the Junodoro for Junora, the Power Patron of Tuning, and then afterwards they can reset the Juprado in order to activate its on-field effect. We can go for Forbidden Crown here, targeting the Junora, but it's not going to do too much. They'll go Vitalim still, and then trigger the effect of the Vitalim in order to grab a card before targeting their monster, shuffling it back, and just summoning a 10,000 attack point guy. Everything banished, go to the battle phase, and we'll go next. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent for game 3 is playing Branded, again. The last one was on a Sark package that I didn't love, and I feel like we haven't really shown off Branded on this channel too much. You can only play against so much Cool Tune before you start ripping your hair out. Well, for this first game, we are not going first, which means this Foolos is going to have to do a lot of work. They're going to begin with a copy of Aluber, the Jester of Despia, followed up with the Branded in High Spirits, and out comes Wowbaz. Wowbaz trigger on field is a perfect time to fire the Foolos, and thankfully we do get to draw at least 1 card here as they go for Dogmatica Ecclesia. They'll activate the effect of the Dogmatica Ecclesia and grab a Fallen of the Virtuous before activating Albion the Shrouded Dragon, setting it back, drawing a card, and setting the Dogma at end step for a copy of Fallen of the Virtuous, using its effect targeting the Fallen of the White Dragon for an Albion, and triggering the effect of the Albion in order to set a copy of Branded Retribution. We'll draw for turn. Maybe we can make this work. That's a pretty decent draw. We'll begin with a copy of Martyr of the Sacred Beast. We will set a Fallen Paradise before going for the Sacred Beast Thunderclap. That is worth a Fallen of the Virtuous to them, and not much we can do about it. It is pretty miserable. We'll go Sacred Beast Released afterwards, and that is Droll and Lockbird time. Pretty irritating. We'll go for the effect of the Summoner of the Sacred Beast here into the Branded Retribution, and then afterwards we're going to have to go for its Graveyard effect to summon back Haemon. They will then go Granginual, banishing the Golden Sword Soul to summon out the Quem and the Quiritis, triggering the effect of the Quem in order to send a copy of Cartesia. We'll activate the effect of the Haemon Lord of Thunder and then take one of our opponent's monsters, followed up by the Quiritis activation. We'll activate the effect of our Martyr to summon a couple of cards to our side of the field, then afterwards link off for an Anima and a Cross Sheep, trigger the effect of the Guiding Chem, and bring back a Cartesia. That's going to enable them to fusion summon a Mixusa. Then they'll use the effect of the Mixusa for the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. Cute! That's going to shuffle back our copies of Martyr on our way to SP Little Knight, and then afterwards we'll Super Polymerization everything but the Dragon that Devours the Dogma to trigger the Cross Sheep. Finally, we can go Protect Code and Firewall, trigger the effect of the Protect Code, summoning it to our side of the field, then trigger the Firewall in order to bounce the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. Our opponent's going to go for the Aluber in the graveyard on our way to Zen is Deceiving Doll Maiden, setting a Christia. Then we'll go Quartet in Bloom in order to bring back Christia and Firewall. After all this, we have set up a lock. We'll get in and then pass turn. Our opponent will activate Cartesia at end step, but I'm feeling pretty good about our position. They'll draw for turn, and it is another Aluber. They will activate Retribution here, cycling back the Fallen of the Virtuous, and oh, right, they can just do that. Okay. All right, okay. Bad move. Next game. So it's time for game 2, and yeah, this hand is a little Balatro-y, but since all we have to deal with is a single copy of Ash Blossom, I think we can get a little bit demonic. We'll go for a Sacred Beast Thunderclap here, a couple of cards, and one of our 2 Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beasts in order to special summon from our deck a copy of Raviel. After that, we'll draw a couple of cards into an Ash Blossom. No big, because we still have the Haemon. We will use it in order to grab Sacred Beast Released. Then we can activate that effect in order to add 3, pitch 2. From here, we can go ahead and activate the effect of the Summoner in hand. We will summon out this Raviel, then overlay for a Verudrus before committing to our Martyr. We'll activate the effect of the Summoner in graveyard to bring back Haemon, and then trigger the effect of the Martyr in order to summon a couple of cards on our way to a Link-summoned Anima and Cross Sheep. From here, we can make Thunder Dragon Colossus at a Cross Sheep point to bring back a Martyr into a Protect Code Talker into a Firewall, into a Protect Code Talker into, unsurprisingly, Firewall Dragon, cycle back the Haemon and Deceiving Doll Maiden. That will send a copy of Christia to the graveyard into a Quartet in Bloom, targeting both the Christia and the Firewall, which will return to our side of the field before we pass turn. Good luck to our opponent. They'll draw for turn, and once again, they have the card that beats us, the Fallen and the Virtuous. Of course, we can use the Verudrus here to negate it, at which point they have no further plays. So it's time for that all-important Game 3, and man, Diabell's the original Sin Keeper is quite a powerful card, huh? Well, they're going to begin with a copy of Fallen of the White Dragon. Here they will be summoning a copy of Ecclesia from hand, activating the effect and summoning the Golden Sword Soul from deck on the way to Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon. That will grab them a copy of Quem. Afterwards, they'll trigger the effect of the Quem and the effect of the Golden Sword Soul in order to summon back the Virtuous and send a copy of Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit. That'll bring back Fallen in White into the 3 Brave Sword Souls and Guiding Chem, which enables them to summon back the Fallen in White and grab a card. Next, they'll go for the Cartesia in hand, summon it out, then activate its on-field effect to perform a fusion summon of Albion into normal summon Aluber. From here, they can go ahead and grab back the Fallen of the Virtuous, activate its effect in order to pop the Albion, and then afterwards pass turn. At end step, they'll trigger the effect of the Dragon that Devours the Dogma, and the effect of the Albion in order to set a copy of the Fallen of the Virtuous, as well as the effect of the Ecclesia to get itself back to the hand before other Ecclesia returns. Christia and Grip, not great. We'll begin with the Haemon, Lord of Striking Thunder, pitching the Christia. They will droll here, and yeah, we probably lose here. We're going to go for Triple Tactics Talents. We'll activate the effect of the 3 Brave Sword Souls. Our opponent will chain Blazing Cartesia. We'll chain Forbidden Crown, and afterwards it will be negated, and we'll just be able to walk over the Quem. In main 2, we can set a card into the Ecclesia and the Dark Dragons, into a Fallen of White Dragon, into this copy of Ecclesia from hand, and then we'll pass back before scooping. So we're back with the deck, and yeah, I don't know what you expected. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, it's a great place to start Yu-Gi-Oh! Its setup lines are pretty straightforward, the cards are powerful but simple. If you're looking for a way to get into the game, you could do worse. 2, sometimes you just end up winning off the big guys. Half boards and interrupted setups are oftentimes just fodder for a couple of Raviels and Haemon. And 3, yeah, obviously it makes the floodgates. It's actually surprising how many decks have a serious problem with Thunder Dragon Colossus, but even those that don't absolutely fall flat on their face to Christia. And the cons. 1, it loses to literally every hand trap. It loses to Droll, it loses to Ash, it loses to Fua, it loses to fucking Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. It's actually a pretty interesting meta call, insofar as it's unlikely any 5-card hand can have every card in it that beats you. 2, it's bricky. Shockingly, having to play 2 3-ofs that do absolutely nothing isn't a recipe for opening playable. And 3, The Fallen and the Virtuous was a card engineered in a lab to eat your lunch. It explodes the field spell into a trillion pieces and loses you the entire match like a 2008 UDE prize card. Overall, I want to recommend this deck, especially for new players, but the fact that its gameplay so often simplifies down to get floodgated nerd is a huge turnoff. So that's that. Thanks so much for watching. These 10-minute testings are made possible by, and occasionally suggested by, my patrons, some of whom have spent a lot of money to be mentioned at the end of this video. Those are Unban Meowmoo, Absolutely Fran, Elena Tincher, Allison Elliott, Ally, Astagafa Jas, APK Pearly Tier 0, Brett Henry, Cap, Cool Name, Daniel Howell, Dark Rebel XYZ, El Gravo, Emiliano Deverio, NB Adams, Erarizuku, Fabrizio Petroli, Galactic Joey, Pergalicious, Jackie Z, JP, Cole Offline, Legal Rights, Lucas Rosas, Luis Hernandez, Matthew M. Derezo, MBT Hablando en Español, MBT Plema Dolce, Mike Carlotti, N54 Lionheart, Nacho, Pombo, Pyramid Artisan Field Cloths TCG Accessories, Rohan Doge, Rose Lapine, Serpentax, Shifter.mp8, Sly Ninja 43, Troy Says By Erasure is Gay, Who's Nick, Yeth, Yoven and Nunik, Yuki Kazami, Yuki, and Zircon Sun. Couldn't have done it without you.